Well, guys, we have finally made it to a chat in a game week. This week, the Longhorns are kicking things off against New Mexico State Saturday night at Royal Memorial Stadium. Should be a great one. And the chat, I think if it's anything like the chat today, there's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of people interested in this Longhorn team this year. And guys, we'll start with the first question you guys took. 9-3 seems like it could be a good season for most, but for Texas, is that a failure, do you think, this season?
I don't think you can ever say a 9-win season is a failure. Dave.
Not even here at Texas?
No, it's not a failure.
Oh, come on.
But it doesn't represent progress.
Right.
You know, Mac has been saying for 9 months his team's got another great run in it. It's headed in the right direction. It's showing improvement. It's going to be developing into a better team. 9-3 without knowing what happens in the bowl game kind of represents status quo. But so I don't think it's really representing progress for a team with 19 starters back. But I would never deem a 9-3 season a failure. He might.
No, I wouldn't, because there are teams out there that will kill for a 9-3, Dave. And I'm thinking if they win 10 games, that's including the bowl games, or go 10-2 in the regular season, that is significant progress, because that gets you in the conversations that you haven't been in since 2009. So I'm hoping to see them make a step forward. Not finish with 9 wins overall, but finish with at least 10 wins overall. That will buy Mac Brown some more time, especially with David Ash coming back for a senior season.
Depth, a huge issue on whether or not Texas will be able to hit that 9-3 mark or maybe get past it in 2 positions really of note with depth is defensive tackle with Ashton Dorsey electing to transfer earlier this week, and at wide receiver where there's some injuries and suspension for this first game. Who do you guys see stepping up in those 2 spots, and is it a huge concern there?
They're going to need Desmond Jackson to plug in a little more depth at defensive tackle, along with Hassan Ridgeway and Alex Norman. And they've been talking them up this summer, so hopefully they're ready. Ashton Dorsey was a senior. I don't think the coaches were really that surprised to see him go, and probably not that heartbroken either. He only started 6 games in his career.
Underachieved.
Underachieved here. And wide receiver, you know, Ja'Cory Warwick is the only freshman wideout on the 2 deep, and he'll see playing time. Jackson Shipley might be limited. Kendall Sanders is out with the ankle and the DUI suspension for this game. So, you know, some of those other guys like a Warwick have to step up.
You know, and this week, that's not going to be as big a deal because of the opponent. They're going to kill New Mexico State, and everybody knows it. But it's going to be a good time to get some film on these freshmen and see what they can bring, because the games are going to get tougher after that.
And they could probably run the ball and beat New Mexico State, but they got to get that up-tempo offense into gear.
Speaking of tough games, though, Joseph asked you guys in the chat, what will be the toughest road game for Texas? There's a bunch of games that look like they could be trouble. They go to West Virginia, TCU, Baylor. They also have a BYU game in Utah in the second week of the season. There's a lot of tough games out there. Which one do you think will be the toughest one this season?
I think that TCU in Fort Worth, that's a tough place to play. I think that's a very talented team, and Kirk and I both picked them to win the Big 12. They came in here last year and beat up Texas with a banged-up David Ash.
And an average TCU.
Yeah, right. And Casey Pahal is back at quarterback. So I think that's the toughest one. Of course, we're not calling OU a road game. That is a neutral site game. So, but those 2 games in the Metroplex, TCU and OU, to me are the toughest.
I don't think Dallas has been too neutral lately for Texas, though, has it? At least not in the second
Definitely
half.
hasn't been kind to them.
It really has. And I said on the chat, and I think West Virginia could be the clear trap game, because nobody's talking about West Virginia this summer. You know, Trickett, I don't know if he's the new quarterback. Hogerson hadn't announced him yet, but I think they're kind of the unknown factor, a mystery team, and first venture in the Morgantown, tough place to play. I think that's your trap game, Texas.
I might also look out for one of the closest road game of the year at Baylor. The end of the season, last game for Baylor in that stadium.
Casey Stadium, man, boy, the Bears will be coming out of the woodwork for that one. They've got some challenges on the road.
Another great chat with Kirk and Ced. They'll be back again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. on statesman.com to answer your questions. And guys, next week we'll actually have a chance to talk about a performance from this team instead of speculation, and what we'll get to see. Some actual on-the-field performance we'll get to talk about.
It'll be a nice change.
Football season, baby.
We'll see you next week.